Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Pashmina Shahid, belongs to Department of Zoology, Cohort University of Science and Technology, Cusp Cohort. I completed my research work under the supervision of Dr. Farman Alatawar on the topic of the effect of nickel exposure on hematology and antioxidant enzymes activity in Tinopharagot and Irdella. In presentation content, I will discuss each and every section one by one in detail. So let's me start with introduction. As we know that nickel is an important micronutrient always found at a low level in animal tissues and seems to be well regulated, but when its concentration exceeds a certain limit, it becomes dangerous and even toxic. Nickel runoff into the water bodies through industries that utilize nickel and its compound for the purpose of different applications. International Agency for Research on Cancer has determined that some compounds of nickel are carcinogenic in nature and also its non-degradable nature. Nickel persistent in the environment, contaminate food chain and can cause different health problems due to their toxicity. So from different literature, it has been suggested that nickel affects immune responses, blood enhances growth, reproduction, behavior, and physiology of fish. Now come towards objectives. So the first objective of the current study was to evaluate the effect of nickel on RBC, WBC counts and hemoglobin content of fish, while the second objective was to determine the effect of nickel on antioxidant enzyme activity in different tissues of fish. To carry out experiment, the following methodology was followed. So the first step was collection and acclimatization of fish. So healthy grass carp was collected from the local fish hatchery from Patijang and transported to the Aquaculture and Fishery Laboratory Department of Zoology Kohan. After that, fishes were acclimatized for 2 weeks. So after that, 1000 ppm stock solution of nickel was prepared by dissolving 5.07 gram of nickel nitrate into 1000 ml of distilled water. From that stock solution, different concentration of nickel was prepared, that is 6, 9, 12 and 15 ppm. After that, for acute toxicity experiment, fish was divided into two groups. One was control group and the other was experimental group. The experimental group was further divided into four subgroups. Group 1 and Group 2 was given a dose of 6 ppm and 9 ppm, while Group 3 and Group 4 was given a dose of 12 ppm and 15 ppm. After that, LC50 was determined and also the hematological and antioxidant enzyme activity were determined. Now come to us results. So in the results, the first one is WBCs. As you can see in the graph that WBC concentration in control group are different from different treated group because it significantly decreased. And the reason behind it is the release of peripherin during stress, which is responsible for the construction of spleen and reduce leukocyte count, which can result in the weakening of the immune system. So the second one is RBCs. Here in this graph, you can see a gradually decrease was observed in different treated groups with different time period as compared with the control group, and a similar result was observed in hemoglobin content of the fish. In this graph, you can see that a gradually decrease was observed in different treated groups in comparison with the control group with different time period, but this decrease was more significant at two concentrations, that is 12 ppm and 15 ppm. Thus, the decrease in these parameters is an indication of severe anemia caused by the exposure of experimental fish to nickel in the water tank. Now come towards enzymes activity. I will share with you only one enzyme's activity, that is catalase activity in three different tissues of fish due to shortage of time. So the first one is catalase activity in muscle tissues of the fish. Here in this graph you can see that a gradual decrease was observed in different treated groups as comparison with the control group, and a similar result was observed in the catalase activity in the gills tissues of the experimental group, where the catalase activity in gills tissue was gradually decreased as compared with the control one with different concentration with different time period. This indicates the reduced activity to protect the cell from free radicals, and also the reduction of catalase activity in liver tissue of the experimental fish in comparison with the control one, which indicate the adaptive response of the cell to protect the cell from free radical or to reduce the toxicity from the cell. Now come towards conclusion. This study indicates that short-term exposure to high concentration of nickel is harmful to fish. Thus, in toxicological studies, these parameters can be used to find the general health status of fish. Thank you for your attention.